Hello, everybody. It's Tony Todd. You're listening to The Statement Show with Zach and Terry.
From the Night Shift Crew Studios in the D.C. metro area, this is The Statement Show. The lights are on.
Hey guys, it's Ivana Kadabra of Macabre Theater, and you're listening to Terry and Zach on The Statement Show.
Hey, this is your Olympic hero, Kurt Angle, and you're listening to The Statement Show with Zach and Terry. Oh, it's true. It's damn true.
Howdy, y'all. This is Michael Hawk, Green Beret combat veteran and TV personality. You're listening to The Statement Show with Zach and Terry, so get ready to make a statement.
Welcome back to another edition of The Statement Show. I'm Terry James.
And I'm Zach Chahee, and you're listening to the podcast that fits in no category. Tonight, we have actor Tony Todd, best known for Candyman, as well as Star Trek, Night of the Living Dead, and Platoon, and many other film and TV shows, too many to bring up right here. So tonight, we have Tony Todd on. What else can you say? Mr. Todd,
how are you, sir?
Hey, what's happening, everybody? I don't mind if you list all the credits, you know. I like hearing some of the ones besides the ones you already mentioned.
Oh, yeah. It would take us an hour and a half to sit here and list them all, though.
It would take us forever. Well, you want to know something funny, Tony? Here's what's hilarious. So I'm sitting here and I'm talking to my family, and I said, you know, I'm going to be interviewing Tony Todd this week, and my son, he's 15. He goes, now, you know, you've got over 100 different theatrical, at least films and television credits to your name, and you know what he says? Wait a minute, he says, wasn't he Admiral Briggs in Call of Duty?
He said, of course, that would appeal to a 15-year-old.
You know, right? I said, yeah. He goes, well, hey, ask him a question for me, Dad. I said, what do you want me to ask? He goes, like, was all that when he was doing when he was actually in the sound booth and he was doing everything, was that actually his words there, or was that a script that he had to read off, or was that something that he could improvise on because he just thinks that your character is the most amazing thing ever?
Well, since, what's your son's name? What was it?
Trenton.
Well, tell Trenton that it was all scripted. You know, in the world of voiceover for video games, they're very precise. And the most challenging thing that for me, I had to be in a mocap suit, literally with the 80 points of light all over me in a Navy SEAL wetsuit. And, you know, everything was improv in terms of the physical props. It was just us looking around, a bunch of guys in wetsuits and dots on them. And all those infamous CSs that my character, Admiral Briggs, had to say were all scripted, all 67 of them.
Wow, man. Did you find like any sort of like personal connection? I mean, did you like actually play as him when it was all finished? Did you actually play Call of Duty, or was it just?
I played Call of Duty before I got it. I mean, I'm a gamer, so
really?
I just worked with a director that did Dishonored 2, and he just gave me a big clue because I was stuck on that game on how I can unstuck myself. So that's what I'm going to do later on when I get home.
Oh, okay.
I love Call of Duty. When they called me for that job, it was between me and one other person who was a friend of mine. And by 4:00, we got the call, but then I couldn't talk about it. It was the most challenging situation I ever had. I couldn't speak about it for a good 8 months, not even to friends, family, or close pets, because they will take you out and have you exterminated if you reveal secrets such as the Call of Duty franchise.
I bet that was
it was horrible, just like the one I did today, which I can't. As soon as I get there, I said, so when is this coming out? They tell me they're not going to announce the cast to probably March of 2018.
Oh, wow.
So once again, I'm stuck with an untenable situation. So this one is really big.
Now,
really, really big.
When you said he recognized you as a certain character, what did you, at first, you were going to say something else. What did you think he was going to recognize you as? Because I know what I thought.
I thought maybe it was Flash related or something.
Okay.
You know?
That's my oldest son there.
Because that's what's going on right now with the youth movement and where I'm at. But I was pleasantly surprised with the Call of Duty.
See, I would have thought.
You ask him when you get home, what did he do when it came time to either kill me or let me go?
Nope.
Curious to knowing that.
No, and I'm going to give you the answer because he actually gave me that answer. He said, and I quote, "I will never kill Admiral Briggs. I will never kill him." That's his exact words to me.
That's awesome, but you won't get to the end of the game if you do. So
right,
it takes people a little bit of time to figure that out.
Well, he didn't want to curse too much, but he says, that was one of his major questions, because he said, was he just making these words up because your terminology as Admiral Briggs was cocksucker all the time? And he was like,
right.
I wonder if he actually was allowed to say that, or was that something that was given to him? So
that was scripted. That came from the mind of probably a 19-year-old scriptwriter.
See, you look at your son who thinks of all that, and when I think of Tony Todd, I'm thinking obviously Platoon, because that's I remember you first from that, and of course I was a big Star Trek fan, so I remember you as Kern, and of course,
both of those projects hold a special place in my heart. Platoon was my very first film, and Star Trek led to the whole fandom universe. I had no idea what a convention was until I did Star Trek. And for the first character to be Kern, such a magnificent Klingon warrior, was unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean, the whole cast working with Michael Dorn, and I mean, the only thing I wish is they won more awards, and I don't think they got enough awards for that show.
No, but you know what? But there's so many people to this day. It's part of the legacy. And the Hollywood Reporter just made a list of the top 100 shows of the entire Star Trek franchise, and I'm happy that I was in 3 out of the 100. Seeing that I wasn't a regular, with The Visitor being number 13 of all time. So I'll stand by that. I'm honored.
And the great episode you did on Deep Space Nine. Yeah. So.
Right. Yeah. It was wonderful. Jake Sisko's an old man. I mean, that had a lot of history. The woman that raised me had recently passed away, and I was like totally inconsolable. We were best friends. She was with me every step of the way of becoming not only an actor, but a young man, and a young man with options in life. And they gave me that script out of the blue, and it was like I was channeling her. It was like she was telling me to get up, continue on. I'm okay. You're going to be great. Go back to work. And that's what we did.
Wow. Yeah, it was funny because when I knew we had you on, I had a buddy that said, "Oh my goodness, Tony Todd, man! I remember I had a former girlfriend of his." He said that he used to repeat Candyman anytime he got around a mirror, and his girlfriend would just get pissed off at him every single time that he would do it. And I said, "That's how I got to know Tony Todd. That's how I really knew you is Candyman." Because what I loved about Candyman was it had that, it had the urban myth thing to it, and it was just so scary because there was this little thought process of, if I say this, will this really happen? It's not, but there was just something about that movie. And I would imagine, I guess, maybe not. I mean, but I would imagine for you, that seems like the one character probably that most people come to you and talk to you about, I would say, or at least a lot of the Comic-Cons and things.
Yeah, when I'm in the fan world, yeah, that's probably the most. But, I'm able to sidestep different things. Like my height, anybody that knows me knows that I come from the theater, and theater is what turns me on and what makes me breathe. And, in the theater circle, they don't care about movies, much less franchises. So that's how I keep it humble. I'm happy with Candyman. He definitely changed my life, but it's not the end or the beginning.
Sure.
But I appreciate, I think that both Clive Barker and Bernard were able to tap into something. Bernard Rose was able to tap into some sort of Ziggles that tickled the imagination of the audiences. And, we'll never be the same because of it. And, that's all led. Fangoria just gave me a lifetime achievement award, which I found, flattering. Consider the 3, it was their one and only. Unfortunately, the magazine is no longer being published, but at least hard copy. But to be in company with Gail Ann Hurd and Boris Karloff, personally, I think Bela Lugosi should be there before me, but it's quite an honor, and I can't wait to receive it.
It absolutely is. That's congratulations on that, by the way.
Thank you, man.
Do you get asked?
Let's see if it trickles down and gets more and more work. I mean, I have friends that I went to school with. I went to a great school back in Providence, Rhode Island, Trinity Repertory Theater, which won the Tony Award for Excellence. And out of the 22 classmates, there's 2 of us that work a lot. One of them is a sound guy, Bob Sacchetti, dear friend of mine, the guy that I'm writing a movie for. But people call me and say, "Well, why are you, not me?" And, there's no answer to that. There's a certain amount of tenacity. You can't have a time limit on when it is that your ship is going to come in. And you have to be fearless. You have to just know in your heart that this is what I'm destined to do. And that's what my career has allowed me to do. It's not a lottery ticket situation of hoping and praying that it happens. You have to. Yeah, it's got to be in your DNA. You got to be willing to say cocksucker whenever they ask you to honor Trenton.
Wow. So that's Candyman horror movie. Were you in a lot of horror movies? Because I know you from the you did the remake for Night of the Living Dead as well too, didn't you? You were Ben.
Right. Yeah. That was my first horror film.
Oh man, that was. Yeah. All I gotta say is I'm gonna work with amazing. So.
I got to work with Tom Savini, and it was another secret to longevity in this business is to try not to offend people you work with. And I know that's easier said than done, but I've been blessed. I've been lucky. Most of the directors I've worked with are and remain good friends of mine. Tom is definitely right up there. Bernard Rose, who wrote and directed Candyman, another great friend. You try not to burn your bridges, and that's difficult sometimes, particularly when you're young. You're cockier, you want to say fuck off, but just go with the flow. It takes a team of people to build a bridge from one shore to the other. So everybody's got an important point of view.
Absolutely. Yeah, I saw on Twitter that you were doing some theater not too long ago, or you're still doing it now, or
No, we just wrapped. I wrapped about 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago.
Did 44 performances, 8 shows a week in my hometown of Hartford, Connecticut. It was great. Good way to start the year, doing some honest work.
That's your passion.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
What was the show that you did?
It's real.
You're right.
It was called Sunset Baby. It was written by Dominique Morrissey, who was on the writing staff of Shameless. It's won all kinds of awards. We were the 6th production to be done of it. 3 character play. I play a father who was a former revolutionary that spent 25 years in prison, come out, try to reunite with my daughter, who I last saw when I was 3. And of course, things aren't the same as what you remember. So it was lovely. Wonderful time. Exhausting. It took me a week of just decompression. That's why I couldn't give you guys an interview right away. But today is my first reemergence. Did a great voiceover today, talking to you, and I tested for a TV series last week that looks really good, but unfortunately it just got postponed for about 6 months. So, it's the story of an actor's life. Next week, I got another pilot that I'm reading for CBS. So, I don't worry about these things. My life is great.
One of them, I'm hoping I'm not overstepping bounds here, but maybe it was just the internet, or maybe you can or cannot talk about it. But one of them was with Kevin Smith, correct?
Yeah, I already did that. That I can talk about. We did that back in November.
Right. How is that a go?
No, dude, that's on radio silence right now, which I totally don't understand, considering Kevin Smith's popularity. And we did the reading down at the comedy club, in the improv club theater in LA, where every famous comedian ever graced the stage has appeared. I mean, when I went in there, I walked through the little hallway. You see, they have thumbprints of Richard Pryor, Sam Kinison, everybody. Robin Williams has been on that stage. So that was a project called Intelligentsia, and we'll find out what's going on. Call Kevin. Ask him. Ask him where it is.
We've been trying to get Kevin on the show.
Oh, yeah? Well, I know he does a lot of podcasts.
You're right on that.
Oh, he has a lot of his own podcasts.
He does. He does.
That's true. That's it. But I think he likes showing up at odd places as well. We all do. It's like not that you guys are necessarily odd.
Yeah, we're kind of.
You're in DC.
Hey, we're all good with that.
Wait a minute.
Okay.
Weren't you born in DC?
Yes, I was.
Right.
I was born in D.C., left when I was 3. I saw what it was like, and I packed my bags, went down to the train station, hitched from the guy let me off in Newark, New Jersey, and I hitched all the way to Connecticut.
Well, when you make your way back here, if you make your way back here, you're gonna have to look us up, man. Because
I will.
This was a short amount of time, but I get it because you've been busy all day, and we could not be any more happier to even had you on. I appreciate even.
Well, you know what? Here's another secret to success. Always honor your word. I told you guys I'd do it.
Did.
You reached out to me when I was still doing the play, and always keep your word. Your word is bond.
You're right, man.
Absolutely.
So,
like I say, man, we cannot begin to thank you so much for coming on the show. You've been terrific about everything, and we're not gonna keep you. We know you. It's been a long day for you, but we wish you nothing but success. You're such a fantastic. For every interview that I listen to from you, you just sound like such an amazing person. Now that I've actually had the opportunity to talk to you. Yeah, man.
I love life, my brother. It's all good.
I can tell, man. Yeah. But anyway, though.
And I got 2 kids of my own that are all out of college. What am I going to do? This is a wonderful life.
Out of college?
Right. Oh, jeez. Listen to this. Out of college?
Jeez.
Well, I got 2.
Hey, it does get there eventually. Trust me. My daughter, she spent from 14 to 15 not speaking to me at all. Now we're best buds. So there's always hope.
Yeah. Of course.
That's how it goes.
The most uncool person in the world for a while.
Well, yeah. You know how it is.
I do. I know exactly how it is. But no, hey, man, we don't want to hold you. And thank you so much for joining us today. We wish you nothing but success. Good luck.
As soon as I get something really big and breaking that I can talk about, I'll contact you guys. Okay?
Hey, that works. That works for us.
You got my number, man. Please do.
I do. Thank you.
All right, Tony. Thanks a lot.
Night, everybody.
Have a good one, Tony.
Keep listening to the Statement Show. Peace.
Thanks, man.
Thanks, Tony.
All right. Woo. Well, okay. So Zach and I guess probably have to go back a little bit. This was a little bit difficult for us. This interview obviously wasn't as long as our normal interviews, and that's a little bit on our end, a little bit
not
on
all interviews. I mean, that's the thing. That's the misconception. I think a lot of people probably think not all interviews are going to be an hour and a half. Not everybody has that kind of time, and
no, they don't. I mean, I think they probably got used to tuning into an hour-long episode, and that's just not the case at all times. And again, though, you got to figure we got in touch with Tony. Tony has been in the studio doing voiceovers pretty much all day, and took the time to take 15 minutes out of his time for us. And hey, I'm happy with that. He's a great person, and we definitely appreciate that.
And by the way, I wasn't kidding when I said his list of films and TV shows are too long to list. If you look him up on Wikipedia, oh my God, all over the place. He's done everything. I mean, Simon and Simon, 21 Jump Street, Kate and Alley, Night Court, MacGyver, Matlock. I mean, it's been Law and Order, The X-Files. I mean, Star Trek.
Anyone that is younger than 30 right now that's listening, they're going to go, what the hell, Simon and Simon, I
know. I mean, that's more me.
I love it.
24, Batman's. I mean, that's just the TV shows, and I'm only naming a few. I mean, yeah. So,
and like you were saying with the Flash, and like you were talking about the 3 generations of Star Trek, and 24, and it just keeps going on and on and on. Mm-hmm. And when you can do theater, you can do TV, you can do movies, and then to be recognized now through the younger generation, through a video game, you're doing something right. I mean, you are doing it good right now.
Well, to me, I thought he was going to say that when you first started talking about it, I thought he was going to start saying things like, I thought he was going to recognize me as Star Trek as Kern, but I guess no. So I guess that's me and not, that's my age group and the age group of your son. It's more going to be the video games, and that's where it is today. I guess major actors are recognized for those parts.
Well, I think my oldest son and my middle son would probably would say the Flash. I would probably say our age group would be that Star Trek or even obviously Candyman and the Final Destination movies. That, and then the much younger generation is going to go with the Call of Duty game. Yeah, and
so I want to mention one movie with Tony Todd that I never got to mention on the interview. So if he listens to the interview, I want to say I do appreciate a film that he was in. It's probably not a really well-known movie, but it was on Netflix and I caught it. And it's an amazing movie. It's called The Man from Earth. It came out in 2007. And basically, it's not an action movie, but they all sit in this room. Oh, spoiler. I know we're big on the whole spoiler thing. So spoiler, if you don't want to know how it goes, tune it off now and basically don't listen to the rest of the show. But you listen to the important part. But anyway, The Man from Earth, 2007. It's on Netflix. Look it up. Basically, they're all in a room, and this is a teacher who's leaving the school, and Tony Todd's one of the teachers. They all come there to wish the guy well as he's leaving, and they all want to know why he's leaving. He's in the height of his life and career, and he explains to them, it's just that time, but he decides to sit down with him and have a story with him and tells them all that he hasn't done this before, and he figured he'd give it a try. So he tells him a story basically that they all start talking hypothetically, kind of like a game when it first begins, talking about what would you do if you met a caveman but met him today? How would he look? How would he act? Never aged, things like that. And the story kind of goes like that. The whole idea is that the guy they're talking to, the teacher that's leaving, he leaves everywhere every 12 to 15 years and people start to recognize that he's not aging. Well, the idea is he is the caveman that never aged and never died and grew up through the centuries and in hundreds and thousands of years. And, so it starts out as hypothetical, and then people start believing that. So, cool movie. But I think people should check it out. Man from Earth. And of course, he was in Final Destination, Candyman, Platoon. So he's in a bunch of stuff to check out. But I think that stood out for me because it's not one of those big action movies people are into. It's primarily in this house in one room, and the whole movie is just basically in this one room. So it's, you were just in one location, but all the actors that take part in that series are fantastic in that in that show. So definitely check it out, man. The Man from Earth, and check out all Tony's projects, and check out when he's going on as far as like theater and things like that. I can't get it out. Theater and things like that. So it's hard to pinpoint because he's got so many things going on. Like you said, you're doing
he really
TV.
does.
He's doing TV show pilots, and he's got. You do one, you do another one, and then 6 months later you do another one, and then if you're lucky, one of them gets a pilot, and then if you're lucky, that gets picked up, or you do 10 of them and nothing ever happens. So it's like you said, it's the life of an actor. But you gotta love you gotta love his ethic as far as saying like keeping your word. Your word has got to mean something, and I do believe that your word's got to mean something. So.
I mean, if you're thinking about just the fact that, listen to what Zach just said on all the credits that this man has, all the movies he's doing. He's voicing over for the Flash. He's doing just all these crazy things that he's doing right now, and took the time to talk to us. I mean, that says something for a human being right there. That really does. That says something for what kind of man we're talking about. Like I say, I just love the fact that every time I've ever seen an interview with him, he's so kind. He's gentle. He listens to to everyone's questions. He's never been quick about anything. And I love the fact that he's went from movies to TVs to theater to games. It's just, he's so well versed. And that's the reasoning why I think that we wanted him in the first place on the show, when you can talk to someone like that,
So like you were saying, we'd love to get Kevin Smith on. I love it. So just, it's not easy getting some of these guests and trying to get a hold of the actual person, because you have a lot of people asking for interviews, and they have to decide who they're going to take an interview with. And so that's why I said we don't like to take cheap shots, and we don't like to ask stupid questions. So, yeah. But yeah, I enjoyed Tony. It was a pretty good interview. So.
And Tony, if you have Kevin Smith's number, tell him to call us.
Yeah, by all means. Tony's on Twitter. We're on The Statement Show at The Statement Show on Facebook. So that's a new thing. I want to tell Chris. What was the last name again?
Instagram. And Chris, you're going to try to pronounce it?
No.
What would you call? You were calling her DiGiorno.
I was calling her damn pizza. So it's not delivery.
But Chris would be very happy that we have an Instagram and we have a Facebook. At least we had a Facebook. It just wasn't very good.
No, and thanks to her, it's growing. And I want to thank her personally.
Absolutely.
So you can find Tony Todd on Twitter. You can message us on and get a hold of us and follow us on Facebook at The Statement Show. You can search us out that way, at The Statement Show. Terry, how do they find us on Twitter?
Yeah, Twitter is at Statement Show. Instagram is at Statement Show. Of course, the website, thestatementshow.com. Like Zach said, Facebook, The Statement Show. We're all over the place, man. Chris has got us in check now, doesn't she?
Oh, yeah. So we're growing. But your subscriptions, your emails, asking questions, this is all part of the package deal. So thanks to you, we keep going. We have more guests coming on, and we just try to get the people want to hear. So not easy all the time, but we do it. But some of the last couple guests we had, Tony and Michael Hawk and Chris, and these are all. Yeah, I had a great time interviewing them, and then hopefully have some of our previous guests come back on. But if you go to our website, you can listen to all our shows. Click at the link and listen to all the shows. We've talked to Bree Olson and Jackie Joy, Michael Hawk from he was on the Discovery Channel with his own show, and it has.
If you like wrestling, Kurt Angle, Lillian Garcia.
Yeah. definitely. So that's another thing. We're going to try to get some WWE stars on if we can. More anyway.
Which, by the way, folks, I don't know. I mean, we're not going to gloat, but we're going to gloat. The Kurt Angle interview took off on Yahoo, Google News, was all over the place. It took off. So we're patting ourselves on the back a little bit there.
Sure. Yeah, we're not. Yeah. The fact that we're giddy about that tells you, all 10 of our listeners.
That's not true.
No, you're right. It's at least 11. So if you want to add your son in, that would be 11. No,
11 and a half.
Yeah, there you go. 11. You only listen to half the show, right?
Right.
So again, I don't know. I mean, we're constantly trying to tweak the format. It's not easy either. So anybody wants to send us an email, if somebody wants to come on the show, by all means, go to thestatementshow.com, hit the contact page, and go ahead and send us an email. You can also get a hold of us on Facebook and do the same, and hit us send us a message. So,
agreed.
Yeah, that means the lights are out. Another episode of The Statement Show.
See ya.
Always keep your word. Your word is bond.
You're right. I will never kill Admiral Briggs. I will never kill him. That's his exact words to me.
Yeah, it's got to be in your DNA. You got to be willing to say cocksucker whenever they ask you. Hey, what's happening, everybody? I don't mind if you list all the credits. I like hearing some of the ones besides the ones you already mentioned. Keep listening to The Statement Show. Peace.